Are rich people smarter with money than the rest of us? That's the topic we're going to explore in this video, so let's go ahead and get into it. Starting with our first one, understanding compound interest. Now, this is something it did take me a while to get a deep understanding of and really understanding to use it to the advantage. When you start looking at compounding interest, this gives your investment in your money to grow exponentially over time, meaning you can create in turn your money into a lot more money with the returns, and that money will slowly snowball on top of each other, allowing it to compound. Now, the earlier that you're investing, the more really consistent that you're investing over time will give it that exponential growth effect that we see in compounding interest. This does not just rely on your savings account. It is also the investment vehicle that provides the investment and the returns over the long haul. When we start thinking of investing, we are looking at a 5+ year time frame. When we look at stocks, when we look at real estate, when we looked at crypto, any a really asset that is going to have a very big appreciation of value over an extended amount of time is going to compound at some point, meaning you are going to make exponentially more money. Now, second one we look at, they prioritize their earnings. This is income streams. This is looking at the diversification of income. We are not looking at your 9 to 5 where if something should happen to it, you are completely penniless. You do not have any income at all. This is why millionaires build a multitude and a lot of income streams. When we start looking at income, it could be your 9 to 5, but looking at dividends, looking at rental income, looking at exponential wealth growing, understanding that wealth comes from the growing of the assets they possess, looking for opportunities to currently and in the future expand those earnings to grow into a bigger stockpile. This could be new projects. This could be starting a business. This could also be investing into assets that would generate a return just like those dividend stocks that we talked about. Number 3, they embrace education and financial education. For me, financial education came through the form of formal schooling, but also on YouTube, I've done a crazy amount of financial education and literacy. So if you like any of the content that I'm putting out, please consider subscribing to the channel. When we start looking at wealthy, looking at books, reading, getting knowledge, spending time, getting resources, and educating yourself about financial trends and financial strategies that people use to generate additional income. Individuals with higher financial literacy are more likely to plan for retirement, accumulate greater wealth over time, underscoring the importance of any financial education to make informed decisions. And this is something that I feel personally, when it comes to school, the foundations are not laid. They need to teach financial education and literacy when it comes to our public school system, because rich individuals typically have financial advisors. They have mentors. They have people that guide and back up the decision and even are free and feel that they have to tell them if something is out of line to make sure those financial moves are done with the best interest. And when we start talking about compounding like we did, they have a long-term perspective. This is the key difference between wealth and the rest of us, is the ability to think long-term. I'm not looking at the next 5 to 10. I'm looking at the next 20 to 30, even the 40 and 50 when I might not be here, but I do have kids that'll have generational wealth. It's not looking at the immediate financial needs of what we have, the short-term gains. We are looking at years or even decades of building financial wealth. Understand that building wealth is not about getting rich quick. For a lot of people, getting rich quick means putting their assets into something that is far too risky that they're not comfortable with. And it also means that there's a possibility to lose a lot of money. We see it with stocks, we see it with trades, we see it with cryptocurrency, a lot of things that went bankrupt and really just devastated people's financial well-being because the risk was too high. When we get into risk, number 5 is the calculated risk. Wealthy individuals are not afraid to take risks, but we take risks that are a lot smarter, a lot more careful consideration, a lot more strategy behind what we're doing. This is the inherent part of investing and growing wealth. There is going to be risk when it comes to investing. That is why anytime that you do any investing, you see the disclosures, you see that, the analytics, you see everything that it talks about. Looking at a financial expert or conducting extensive research before investing. I have stressed this in any of my investing videos, even in the disclosures down below if you look at YouTube. Making and understanding your investment, and never ever invest in something you don't understand. It is going to be a lose-lose scenario, because if you're investing in something you don't understand, chances are you're going to live money. And the biggest one, we know from Dave Ramsey to Warren Buffett to anyone else, living below their means. This is imperative. Many wealthy people are not very lavish spending. We know Warren Buffett lives in the house that I think he bought like 46 years ago. Even looking at a couple like Ramit, still drives an old car for an extended amount of time. They live modest compared to their income levels. Could they afford to drive, that $300,000 Bentley? Sure. Do they? Not at all. Could he afford a mansion? He is a billionaire, still living in a very small house, still living in really the same neighborhood that I grew up in. Instead of splurging and spending all that money, knowing the power again of compounding and knowing that living below your means gives you the ability to accumulate wealth over time. If you're living above your means, chances are you have credit card debt, you have financial debt, you're going to be financial strapped because you don't have anything to invest, and really putting it into and building stability within those financial goals is imperative. And when we start thinking bigger picture, the value time over money. I have started doing this on a regular basis. I value my time and really putting a price tag on it. If you think you're an individual that is making $25 an hour, is it cheaper to have someone else do something that is going to be less than that $25 an hour? Or does it make sense for you to do it? And at what level? When I think about video editing, when I think of, SEO, when I think a lot of things in YouTube, it saves me a lot of time if I can pay a little bit of upfront money to get a lot of it completed in its entirety. This can be made and money can be made through investing, growing, but time, once it is spent, will never be returned. Meaning, as we're sitting here and we're growing this channel, influencing financial decisions, meaning we can go and motivate and use my time and effort elsewhere versus doing the multitude of hours that it takes me to edit videos, because of course, I am not very good at it. I have been focusing on number 8, which is networking strategically. I focused on a lot of business development, a lot of networking. Building and maintaining a very strong network is crucial to a financial strategy. Understanding the relationship, you can open doors to opportunities, insight, resources that you wouldn't have access to without having those personal relationships. It's not about knowing people as much as it is about building genuine connections with individuals that can provide you some insight. And really, it's what is the value? When you look at an individual like myself, have years and years of financial education when it comes to credit scores, when it comes to understanding investments, when it comes to how banking and the financial sector works, it's something that I've dealt with for almost 20 years at this point, but allowing you to share and give insight on a lot of different things makes a really big difference. Now, number 9, focusing on asset building. This is what I have been doing in my entirety, not only earning a salary, but wealth and prioritizing building of assets that generate income. When we think of something like the HD, when we look at investing in property, stocks, businesses, really the list goes on and on with what you can invest in, but it also makes a big deal when it comes to diversification. I don't have 100% of everything into stocks. I do own a bunch of different things in a bunch of different assets across a bunch of different markets. It's not safe to rely just on, again, that 9-to-5 paycheck, giving you more financial freedom and security when you have your investments or your assets built across a lot of different sectors. Now, for me, this comes down to number 10, planning for taxes. Rich individuals often proactively and know that taxes are coming. Every single year we file them at almost the exact same time, understand the taxes and know exactly the impact that it's going to have on building wealth. This is the difference between going for a traditional 401k or a Roth 401k. Are you looking at doing a traditional IRA or a Roth IRA? It makes a big difference when it comes to the tax advantage. Are you looking to kick that can down the road another 20, 30, 40 years of compounding interest, then have to pay taxes on the total amount? Or do you want to pay the taxes up front today, utilizing those tax advantage accounts, utilizing those HSAs, and making sure that you're not paying that tax burden when it comes to a couple decades down the road, because it's going to be a lot more expensive. Now, as we get into number 11, understanding the importance of diversification. This is the investment portfolio. Knowing what has been happening in the market, looking at the on again, off again tariffs that the president has been putting out there, makes a huge difference to be diversified and not having everything in the tech sector, not having everything, in the S&P 500, even not having everything in those big, really income companies like Coca-Cola. You need to diversify. The portfolio should be spread across multiple sectors, possibly even multiple countries if you're looking at a global strategy, as well as holding some bonds. There's a lot of different ways that are not really adjusted or don't feel the impact as much when there is a pullback in the market. Number 12, which is one of my favorites and the one I'm going to leave you with, setting clear financial goals. For me, wealth building is about setting those goals and making sure that the rich are often meticulous about setting and tracking those financial goals. I know exactly to the date when I'm going to pay off my house. Mathematically, we figured it out. Knowing the long-term goals, breaking them into short-term monthly goals, possibly even weekly goals to, hey, you want to save $10, $15, $20 a week or $10, $20 a paycheck, making sure and knowing exactly what you want to do. And you also have to be very honest, very truthful with yourself. I don't want to see people trying to save a bunch of money when they have an incredible amount of debt. It doesn't make sense, but it keeps you from getting sidetracked by what's important. If you want to start a family, if you want to buy a house, if you want to do a lot of different things in your life, it makes a big difference when you have those clear financial goals because you can track them. They are achievable. Putting timeframes around them when you think, hey, I want to buy a house in the next 3 years. I need $30,000. We got to save $10,000 a year to break this down. And the final one, the bonus one, investing in yourself. When it comes to investing in really personal development, this is the biggest one that a lot of people overlook because going back to school can be incredibly difficult. But if you can raise the value of yourself in a company, looking at different skills, looking at knowledge, possibly a different field, when you are a critical asset or build enough value within an organization, financial success will come. If you are adding value, it might mean, again, going back, doing education, going to workshops, hiring coaches, focusing on health, wellness, whatever it is. But the ability to consistently and constantly improve yourself is going to make you more valuable in the workplace. All right, guys, so that's going to do it for today's video. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.